Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Thursday. Here's my little friend. It's a cute little cantaloupe or maybe a honeydew melon. I love these guys. They're so cute. Okay, so welcome everybody. Let's give everyone a few seconds to join in. But today we're going to be talking about Lesson 2, Conversation 2, our negative personality. So we have our situation where, hello, welcome. So we have our situation where they're going out on a date. This is a first date. And the first date doesn't really go very well, right? And getting angry about everything. You got to chill out, relax a little bit, okay? So in our conversation, we talked about going to a restaurant and talking about a server and talking about some food and how to order and stuff that's good, right? Now, what comes up in this conversation is something that is kind of a good thing about restaurants in the West and kind of a bad thing about restaurants in the West. So depending on your feeling, maybe you really like those restaurants and the service, or you think they're kind of annoying, right? So the servers at restaurants in America, they always come to your table and they keep talking to you saying, hey, how's it going? How can I help you? And maybe you're in the middle of eating or you're talking to your friend and suddenly a server will come and say, hey, how's the food? It's like, oh, leave us alone. They're trying to be nice, but sometimes it can be really annoying, right? They're always coming to your table saying, is the food any good? Can I get you anything? Do you want anything else? How is this? How is that? Let me eat in peace. So that can be kind of an annoying thing about restaurants in the West, in America especially. But then restaurants in Taiwan kind of go the complete opposite way sometimes, right? You want some help. Maybe you want to order food and you go, huh? Where's my server? I can't find anyone. You're like, hey, please, help, please, I need something. But you can't find anyone. So American waiters or servers can be a little annoying, but then in Taiwan, the waiters and servers just poof, they disappear, right? So maybe find somewhere in the middle, right? Be helpful, but not too annoying and not disappearing, right? Okay. So going to a restaurant is an interesting experience. And so if you're used to restaurants in Taiwan, going to a restaurant in the West, like in America, can be kind of a difficult thing to do. And it's a different feeling, a different experience. But as long as you keep a positive outlook, don't get crazy like this person, you'll be okay, right? Okay. So today we're going to be taking a look at a few different things, and we're going to take a look at our homework, right? So we started with is being, describing the way someone is acting. We also talked about is always blah, blah, blah. If we're complaining about what someone's always doing, oh, he's always talking about baseball. That's too boring. So you're complaining about something. And then we also learned about talking about the future, discussing the future. And for the future, I'm sure all of you are very comfortable with using will or going to. And then in this lesson, we talked about, oh, you can actually talk about the future using the present tense. That seems kind of weird, right? You can use the present progressive tense or the present simple tense to talk about the future. And that seems weird, but English can be a weird language. So there are a lot of different ways you can say the same thing. So that's an important thing to remember. We're learning all these different kinds of grammar and different ways of saying things. But remember, there are many different ways to express what you're trying to say. So if you say it one way, you could probably say it another way, and that would be fine too. So maybe day to day, you are mostly comfortable with using will or going to, but over time you can get comfortable with simple present and present progressive to talk about the future too. And we learn these things as tools to help you express what you're trying to say. It's on a schedule, so I can use present simple, right? It's a plan, and I know I'm going to do it. I can use present progressive. So many different ways to say the same thing. English is really flexible. And so a lot of people get bothered by that. Oh God, there's so many rules. Don't worry about it. There are so many different things you can do. Think about it that way. Instead of thinking, oh, there's so many rules, you can think about it as, oh, I have so many choices. I have so many options on how to say what I want to say. Okay? So will, going to, present simple, or present progressive are all okay in a lot of situations. So don't get worried, oh, I need to use this, I need to use that. As long as you say what you're trying to say, the person is probably going to figure it out. And so just do your best. These are tools, not rules. So think of it that way. This is something to help you express yourself, not to hold yourself back. Don't worry about it, okay? It's just giving you a tool that you can use to express what you want to say, okay? So hopefully you don't get too worried about grammar rules and stuff. Remember, not grammar rules, grammar tools, okay? So let's just get straight into our homework. So we talked a little bit about going to restaurants and what it's like. Near the end, we'll go over again a little bit from our dialogue. So we'll talk about the homework with the dialogue and maybe talk a little bit more about restaurants and what you can do there. Okay, so let's get into it and start with lesson 2, conversation 2, part 2. Okay, so let's get straight to it. First up, our first sentence is 你一直买新衣服，不要浪费钱. Oh, maybe you're talking to your son or daughter or your friend or your boyfriend or girlfriend. And, oh, what are you doing? You can't do this. You don't have a job. Don't buy more clothes. And so, how could you say this in English? I would translate this as, you're always buying new clothes. Don't waste money. Okay? So, as we learned before, to be always doing something is a way to complain. Oh, I think this is annoying. So you can say, you're always buying new clothes. Okay? You're always buying new clothes. So remember, you are always buying new clothes. By putting always, you're making it seem like, oh, it's too much. It happens again and again and again. Okay? And then I said, don't waste money. So that's one way that's very direct. You could also say, stop wasting money. So don't waste money means in general, don't do it. Stop wasting money means you have done it for a while. Now you need to stop. So the meaning is basically the same. Don't waste money. Stop wasting money. Okay? A few notes on some of your answers and a few things you should remember. Okay? First up is, in Chinese, this is one sentence with a comma, right? In English, we need to make it 2 sentences. So people have been getting better about that. All of you have been more careful about making sure it's 2 sentences. Or if you want 1 sentence, you need a connecting word like conjunction, and, or, but, okay? So you're always buying new clothes, exclamation mark. Don't waste money, exclamation mark. 2 sentences because there are 2 ideas. Okay. Now, I actually didn't see this problem, but I wanted to mention it. A very common mistake that people have. Maybe everyone spelled it correctly, clothes with an ES. But when you're speaking, be very careful of the way you say this word. It should be clothes. It's THS sound, clothes. It's CLO, clo, then THES, which sounds like clothes. It's hard to say, clothes. A lot of people, when they're speaking, will say clothe, but they forget that S sound. Or they'll put an extra S sound. They'll say clothes. So be careful, don't drop the S, don't put an extra S. Don't say clothe or clothes, say clothes. THS, clothes. It's a tricky sound, right? Okay. Bruce asked a question. Why don't we say waste your money? So don't waste money or don't waste your money. Both of these are actually fine. I was going to get to that in my notes. So I saw your comment, don't waste your money. That's totally fine too. It's basically the focus, right? So don't waste money in general, or don't waste your money. Talking about you and your money. So both answers are actually the same meaning. Don't waste money, don't waste your money. It's just, what are you talking about? In general or your money? Okay, they're the same. So you're always buying new clothes. I saw someone say, you keep buying new clothes. This is also correct. Oh, you keep buying new clothes, meaning you do it again and again. And that's totally fine. But to use the grammar from our lesson, we're using are always buying. So keep buying, totally fine. Now, for the second part, don't waste money. You could also say stop wasting money. A few people said stop spending money or you spend too much money. Those are also okay, but the meaning is a little bit different. Stop spending money means don't use any money, or stop spending too much money means the person is using too much money. But we use the word waste because you are making it clear that it's bad. So if you say stop spending money, just means they are using their money. But if you say stop wasting money, it sounds like they're throwing away their money. So wasting is more negative and stronger negative, okay? One other thing, I said you're always buying new clothes. You could also say you're constantly buying new clothes. Both meanings are the same. As I said in one of my comments in our group, always and constantly are almost exactly the same. The meaning is very, very close, but basically they are the same. You're always doing something, meaning all the time, or constantly means like you're doing it again and again. Day-to-day use, it's the same meaning. You're constantly buying new clothes, okay? Now, you're always buying new clothes. Don't waste money. Now, some people said don't waste money on them. And I saw don't waste money on it. Now, remember, clothes is more than one. It's plural. There's ES. So you want to say them. If you say on them, that's okay. Don't waste money on them. Don't waste money on those clothes. Don't say it because it would be for one thing. Okay? Let's say. If I look to the side, again, that's if I'm checking the chat and the comments. If you're watching this after the fact, please join us on Thursday nights to join the chat. And if you ask questions, I'll try to respond as soon as I can. Okay? So first comment, these lessons are a little bit confusing. I need to review them again and again. Yeah, it can be confusing using present simple and present progressive for the future. But remember, these are just tools to help you express what you're saying. And you don't have to use them. You can just use future simple. If you want to keep it simple, use will and going to. But using present simple or present progressive is just another tool to help you express what you're doing. And also, if you learn it, if you hear someone say it, you'll understand better. Maybe you're always listening for will or going to, but now you know you don't have to hear will or going to for the future. This is helping your listening too, okay? And one other question about the pronunciation of clothes. Yes, it sounds like a Z. Clothes, right? There's that Z sound, that buzzing sound. Clothes. You don't say close. You say clothes. You go from a TH to a Z. It's pretty tricky, so keep on practicing. Okay, next up is 他一直批评我的作品，我想他就是嫉妒我吧。Oh, this lady seems too annoying. Maybe it's your coworker who always says, "Oh, it's so bad. Oh, this is bad. That's bad. Oh, leave me alone, right? So the way I would translate this one is I would say, she's always criticizing my work. I think she's just jealous. Okay? She's always criticizing my work. Careful, is there an S? No S. She's always criticizing my work. I think she's just jealous. Okay, so she's always criticizing my work. She is always criticizing, ing. I think she's just jealous. I think she is just jealous. You could also say, I think she's just jealous of me. Okay? Now, one by one, is always criticizing is how we complain, right? I think she is just jealous, describing how she feels. So I use is because she feels that way, okay? First up, remember again, this should be 2 sentences, okay? She's always criticizing my work, period. I think she's just jealous, exclamation point, okay? 2 ideas, 2 sentences, unless you have a connecting word, like and, okay? So 2 sentences. I'll tell you that again and again and again, probably every week, because it's a tricky thing to remember. Chinese, 1 sentence, English, 2, okay? And one thing to be careful about is the gender. Who is this person? Well, in Chinese, ta and ta sound the same, but you can see it that it's a she, it's a girl. So this lady at your work is always criticizing. So use she. Okay, and so we're saying this happens all the time, right? So we'd say she is always criticizing. So is, meaning that it happens again and again and again. But if you say was, I saw a couple people say she was always criticizing. That means it's in the past and now it's over. So she was always criticizing would be back then. She used to criticize me a lot, but now she doesn't. So if we say it continues again and again, use is. Okay? And then, like I said with the last one, you can also say keeps on. She keeps on criticizing my work. That means again and again also. Okay. And then next, the verb is criticizing. You say criticizing something, criticizing my work. Be careful. Don't say criticizing on. You don't need the word on. Criticizing directly talks about a thing. Criticizing my work. Now, a huge thing that I saw most people do, most people put an S on the word work. She's always criticizing my works. Now, in most situations, using English, we would say my work. And work is in general, meaning all of the things I do wraps together into one thing called my work, okay? We don't put an S on that. It's all of the things you do are part of this is, all these things, this is my work. You don't need an S, okay? So everything you do for work is my work. So no S. If you use an S, my works, that might be talking about like my works of art. If you're a painter, maybe you have 1 work, you have 2 works. But if you're working in an office talking about what you do generally, just say work, my work, okay? I also saw someone say my product. She's always criticizing my product. Now here, product sounds a little bit too formal. We're talking general, my work. My product means one specific thing you make and you're planning to sell it. So that would be one specific thing you're making, my product. But if we're talking general, we're talking about all of my work, okay? So I think she's just jealous is what I said. You could also say she's just being jealous if you're talking about the way she's acting. If she's acting in a certain way. But if you're talking about the way she feels, you'd say she is just jealous, okay? So is and is being are very similar, but if it's a feeling, just use is. If it's the way they're acting, use is being, okay? So I think she's just jealous. I think she's just jealous of me. Both are okay. Now, I saw a couple people say envy. Now, jealous and envy, are they the same? Well, no. In English and Chinese are both similar in this way. There is a word that is positive, which is envy, and a word that is negative, jealous. So jealous is bad. It's like 嫉妒 in Chinese. Envy is good. Maybe you think someone is great. You admire them. In Chinese, you'd say 羡慕. So envy is like 羡慕. It's a positive thing. It's a nice feeling. 嫉妒 or jealous is a bad thing. Oh, so maybe they want what you have. So that's a bad feeling. Okay. Now next up is 昨天遇到 Sally 的时候，你觉得我表现得够酷吗？嘿嘿。Do you think so? Or is this cool? I don't think so. Too creepy. So, how do we translate this? Everybody did a really great job of this one. You had the order of words. And again, like always, there are many ways to say this. You can move words around. But I would say, when we ran into Sally yesterday, do you think I was being cool enough? So here we're starting with the time. When we ran into Sally yesterday. So, and then the when phrase ends with yesterday. You could also put yesterday at the beginning. Yesterday, when we ran into Sally, do you think I was being cool enough? That's okay too, depending on how you want to express it. But remember, generally, times will go at the end of the phrase, okay? When we ran into Sally yesterday, okay? So here the verb, I use ran into. So we are walking down the street and then, surprise, we see Sally. So I'd say we ran into her. We bumped into her. Both are okay. So when we ran into Sally, when we bumped into Sally, you have a surprise meeting, okay? So ran into, bumped into are both ways to express, oh, a surprise meeting. Now, you could also say when we saw Sally, but that's more general, right? Saw is fine. But ran into or bumped into shows that it was a surprise, okay? A lot of people use the word met. Met sounds like it was planned. When we met Sally, means that maybe you called her on the phone and says, hey, can we meet? So you met yesterday, meaning it was maybe arranged or planned. But 遇到 is kind of like a surprise, right? And so I use ran into or bumped into, okay? I also saw someone say came across. When we came across Sally. That is okay, but that sounds like Sally was in one place and we were walking by and we saw her. Bumped into or ran into means we were both moving and then surprise met. So the meaning is slightly different but very similar, okay? So ran into, bumped into are best. Saw is good in general. Came across means Sally was doing something and you walked by and saw her there. Oh, it's Sally. So slightly different meaning. Okay? For the second part, do you think I was being cool enough? And remember, this is all one sentence because it's all connected. So do you think I was being cool enough? You could also say, was I acting cool enough? Right? I saw a few people say, was I behaved well? Or was I being a cool guy? So behaved well means, were you like being, behaved well sounds like 很乖 in Chinese. Like if you behaved well, maybe you're like not being naughty. You're following the rules. Or being a cool guy sounds like you're trying too hard to be cool. But so I'd stick to saying, was I being cool enough? Something like that, okay? And then we use the word enough because there's this need. I need to be this cool. Am I cool enough to meet that? Okay? I saw a couple people say so cool. Was I being so cool? So cool means like very cool. Was I being very cool? The meaning is a little bit different. It works in the sentence, but the meaning is slightly different. Maybe you think you need to be cool. So was I being cool enough? So while so cool is like, am I super cool? Okay. Again, one more thing. We use when we ran into Sally. I saw a few people say while we ran into Sally. While doesn't really work here because while means at the same time. When means at that time. While means at the same time. So here we should use when. Okay. Next up is lesson 2, conversation 2, part 3. Okay. 223. Next up is 明年这个时候我会在巴厘岛晒太阳。Oh, I hope so. Phew. Enjoy the weather, right? Now, I would translate this as, at this time next year, I'll be sunbathing on Bali Island. Okay, so at this time next year. So look at the clock at this time and this time next year. What will be happening at that time? So we choose a specific time, what will be happening and continuing to happen. So at this time next year, I'll be sunbathing on Bali Island. Okay. You could also say, I'll be tanning on Bali Island. So sunbathing means you lay in the sun and you enjoy the sun and you let it soak in. You feel like you're feeling the sun and you feel like you're having a nice bath in the sun. Okay? You can also say, I'll be tanning in the sun. Tanning and sunbathing are a little bit different. Sunbathing just means enjoying the sunlight. Tanning means you're trying to get a tan. You're trying to make your skin look darker. But the translation into English could be both ones. Sunbathing, you're enjoying the sun. Tanning, you're trying to get dark. In America, a lot of people will try to get darker skin because they think it looks healthy. If you go sit on the beach and you have a nice brown color, people think it looks really nice and looks healthy. Your skin is nice and brown. Now, I know in Taiwan, people think, ooh, it looks dirty. But in the West, people think, ooh, your skin looks nice and brown and healthy. Kind of an interesting difference in culture and feelings about tanning. Okay? Now, you could also say, I'll be basking in the sun. I saw a lot of people use basking in the sun. Basking means laying out in the sun and enjoying the sun. I would say sunbathing is more common though. You're laying and enjoying the sun. I'll be sunbathing, okay? Now, sunbathing is a verb. So we say sunbathing, ing. We don't use this as a noun. So some people said, I'll be taking a sun bath. So sunbath is not a very common phrase. We don't really use it as a noun very often. Sunbath, not very often. We'd say sunbathe. So sunbathing, okay? I also saw some people say enjoying the sunshine. I'll be enjoying the sunshine. That works, but the meaning is a little bit different. Sunbathing means you're like laying on the beach and the sun is cooking you and you're enjoying the sun. I used your phrase in my answer. So both are okay. Enjoying the sun means you like that it's sunny out and you're having fun. Sunbathing means you're laying down and cooking a little bit. Okay. So yeah, sunbathing is a verb. So a few people said having a sunbath, taking a sunbath, doing a sunbath. We don't really use it as a noun very often, so stick to using sunbathe as a verb, okay? And so we are predicting what will happen. So we say, I'll be sunbathing, because maybe we already made plans, we bought our plane tickets. So a few people said, I hope I will be sunbathing. That's okay, the grammar is fine, but the meaning is different. That means, oh, I hope I can go on that vacation. The meaning's a little bit different. It's either I'm pretty sure it's going to happen or I'm hoping it's going to happen, okay? Here's a question. Can you explain when and while again, please? Okay, really quick. So when means at that time. So when we ran into Sally yesterday. So at that time, you look at the clock and it's 8 o'clock. at that time, when we ran into Sally, what happened? And then while would be something is happening, and then another thing is happening at the same time. So if you want to use while, it could be like, while we were talking to Sally, while that was happening, while this action was continuing, what was also happening, okay? When means one specific time, and then while means something is happening. So two things happening at the same time. Does that make sense? So when means one thing happens, one moment, but while means something was happening and continuing to happen. Hopefully that clears it up or helps a little bit. When and while are a little bit tricky, but when, specific time, while means something is happening continually, okay? Like while I am talking versus when I woke up. So one moment versus something that continued, okay? One question is, can we say, take a sun bath? Yes, you could use sun bath like that. You could say, I'll be taking a sun bath. Yes, that's okay, but it's more common to use sunbathe as a verb. Again, like I've said before, there are many ways to say the same things, but we're trying to talk about what is the most common way to say it. And sunbath, I probably would never say, but sunbathe, I might say. Sunbath is not a very common phrase. We don't often use it as a noun. So it's not wrong, but it's less common, okay? So like a lot of these things, there are a lot of ways to say it. There are many ways to say it, but some are a little bit better than others. So it's okay to say it. I'm not saying you're wrong, but there are more common ways to say it. So that's what we're trying to focus on, okay? Hopefully that helps. Now, next up is 明天我会在捷运3号出口等你. Oh, sounds so romantic. Maybe, or maybe I'm thinking too much. Or maybe it's just your friend. Oh, I'll be over there. See you at 8 o'clock or whatever. Okay. So in English, I would say this as, I'll be waiting for you at exit 3 of the MRT tomorrow. Okay. So there are many ways to say this. Many people change the order of the words around, and that's okay. So I said, I'll be waiting for you at exit 3 of the MRT tomorrow. Okay. Now, why do I put MRT after exit 3? Exit 3 of the MRT. Well, that's because we didn't specify which MRT. If I say the name of the MRT station, if I say City Hall MRT station, then I would put that at the beginning. I'll be waiting for you at City Hall MRT station, exit 3 tomorrow. But because we weren't specific, and maybe the person knows which MRT you're talking about, I'd say exit 3 of the MRT or of the MRT station. Both are okay. Okay? So that's why I would put it after. Most people got this pretty well, like no big issues. So just a few different things. I said exit 3 of the MRT. So of the MRT meaning exit 3 connected to that MRT station. That MRT station has many exits, so this is one of them. A few people said in the MRT, exit 3 in the MRT. But that sounds like you're talking about downstairs inside the MRT. I'll meet you at exit 3 in the MRT, meaning in the station, okay? A few other people said by the MRT, exit 3 by the MRT. That means nearby the MRT. But to make it clear that it's exit 3 of the MRT, it's connected to the MRT, use of. So people also said exit number 3. That's fine too, but you can shorten it and just say exit 3. Exit number 3, exit 3, same thing, just say it shorter to save your breath, right? Okay. Oh, a good question about the last one, about Bali Island. I said on Bali Island. Bali is a small place. It's an island. So if it's a small island, often you could use the word on. So you're on an island, so on Bali or on Bali Island. So generally for islands that are really, really small, you could say on the island. But if it's bigger, like Taiwan is a big island, you wouldn't say on Taiwan, right? You'd say in Taiwan. We live in Taiwan because it's a big island and you're living inside of it, okay? And we wouldn't say at because at is a more specific place, maybe at the hotel on Bali. So at, on, or in are a little bit tricky. In means like in a country or in a big place. On means on a small island. At means at a very small place, a very specific place, like at school, at the hotel, at the restaurant, okay? So in, on, at are all pretty tricky. And I'm sure you probably learned a lot of rules from years of studying English, and sometimes they get pretty tricky. I saw one textbook recently saying, oh, at is for any small place. It's like, what? No, not exactly. So it's a little bit tricky, so you gotta go with the flow and practice. A small island like Bali, I would say on Bali Island. Because it's a small island, you're on it. Okay. Next up, sentence number 3 is 我睡过头了，我会晚2个小时到. Oh no, you're late. So I would translate this to I overslept. I'm going to be 2 hours late. You could also say I overslept. I'll be 2 hours late. Okay? Also, I'll arrive 2 hours late. Or, to use what we learned in our grammar lesson, I'll be arriving 2 hours late. Okay? All of these are fine. We're talking about the future, so you could use going to be, I will arrive, I will be, or I will be arriving. All of these are fine. So your grammar, the verb, there are many different choices, right? Now, the first part, I overslept. There are a lot of different answers here, and overslept, I think, is the best for this situation. You could also say, I slept in. Slept in is usually you choose to do it. You are sleeping in on the weekend. I have nothing to do, so I'm going to sleep in. That means you sleep late, but maybe you want to. But oversleep makes it clear that you slept too long. Maybe you missed your alarm clock, okay? So it should be overslept in the past tense. It already happened. I overslept. Now, don't say I slept over. Slept over means you sleep at someone else's house, meaning I slept over at my friend's apartment, something like that. So overslept means I slept too late. Slept over means I slept at my friend's house, okay? And remember, overslept should be one word, okay? So the second part, I'll arrive 2 hours late. You could also say be arriving. Some people said I'll be getting there 2 hours late. That's okay, but if you're talking to someone, if you're calling your boss on the phone, I'm sorry, I'll be getting there 2 hours late. Okay, but yeah, in general, if you're talking about it, you can say I'll arrive 2 hours late. Okay, now 2 hours late. So we have the time first, 2 hours, followed by late. 2 hours late. This is the standard way to do it. So you could say, oh, I'm too early. I'm 20 minutes early. Or, oh, I'm late. I'm 15 minutes late. So the time followed by early, time followed by late. A lot of people flipped it around and said late for 2 hours. That is not the normal way to do this. For is usually talking about how long you do something. Like I was working for 2 hours. But you're not being late for a long, long time. It's not something you're doing. You just are late. I am 2 hours late. Okay? So don't say late for 2 hours. You could say, I worked for 2 hours, or I slept for 2 hours, okay? It's something you're doing if you use the word for, okay? I also saw 2 hours later. It's better if you just say 2 hours late. If you say later, you're comparing to something. I slept 2 hours later than normal. So the R makes it a comparison, okay? The last sentence of this section is 他下个月会请假20天. Oh my gosh, that's a lot, right? So I translate this as he'll be taking 20 days off next month. So he'll be taking 20 days off next month. Or you could also use going to be. He's going to be taking 20 days off next month. So both are okay. You can say this many different ways. He's taking 20 days off next month using present progressive like we talked about before. Or, yeah, he is taking 20 days off. He will be taking 20 days off. He's going to be taking 20 days off. All these are different ways, and they're okay. I saw a few people say, he'll be taking leave for 20 days. That sounds a little bit too formal. In casual conversation, just say taking 20 days off, okay? And then, so I also saw a few people using asking. He's asking 20 days off. In Chinese, you use the word ask, like 请假, the 请. But in English, we don't need asking because it's already decided. He already asked, so we'd say he's taking time off. And he's taking time off next month. So not this month, but next month. A few people said in the next month. That means if you use in, it means in the next 30 days. But if we say next month, it means, well, now is May, it would be in June. But in the next month would be in the next coming 30 days. So slightly different. Now, next section is Conversation 2, Part 4. First up is 我今晚要去参加朋友的婚礼. Okay, we talked about weddings a couple weeks ago. When was that? I forget. But we had a few examples in translations with the word wedding before. So some of these things I'm going to say here, I said before, so you got to remember, okay? 我今晚要去参加朋友的婚礼. So I translate this as, I'm going to my friend's wedding tonight. Okay? Keep it simple, just use the verb going. I'm going to my friend's wedding tonight. You could also say, if you want to sound a little more formal, a little more proper, you can say, I'm attending my friend's wedding tonight. It sounds more formal if you use attending. So, conversation with your friends, saying going to, just good enough. Keep it simple, okay? I'm going to my friend's wedding tonight. Cool, that sounds great. Okay, so going to is fine. Attending is fine. And we use present progressive to say it's your plan. I'm going to, or I'm attending. Now, if we want the future with going to, that would be okay. I'm going to attend my friend's wedding tonight. That's fine. But it's not using the grammar from this lesson, right? There are many different choices. Are you using the grammar we're practicing? Who cares? If you get it right, good enough, right? Okay. I also saw, I'm going to be attending my friend's wedding tonight. This is okay, but it sounds a little bit formal. I'm going to be attending my friend's wedding tonight. You're adding extra words, so you're using the future progressive, which we've learned before. And that's okay, because it's a specific time. But you don't need to say it that complicated. You can use the present progressive, I'm going to my friend's wedding. And then a few things that we saw before. You can just say wedding. I'm going to my friend's wedding, okay? I saw a few people say wedding banquet, wedding party. Now, wedding banquet is part of the whole wedding, okay? The wedding is the whole thing, which has the wedding ceremony, then the wedding banquet or the wedding dinner. but the whole thing is the wedding. So just say wedding. Keep it simple. A few other people said wedding party. Like we said before, wedding party means a specific group of people in the wedding. The wedding is the event. The wedding party is a group of people, meaning the bride, the groom, and the maid of honor, the best man, and the people in the ceremony. If you're just watching, you're not in the wedding party, okay? So keep that in mind. We just need to say wedding. Keep it simple, okay? And then a few quick notes. Don't forget your apostrophe on friend. My friend's wedding, apostrophe S. Your friend has his wedding. And then make sure you say my friend's wedding, not just I'm going to friend's wedding. You have to say my friend's wedding. Okay. And next up is talking about timing. Specific times, it's on a schedule, right? If it's on a schedule, what do we use? So, 婚礼晚上6点开始. So I would translate this as the wedding starts at 6 p.m. Keep it simple. This is keep it simple, so present simple. It's on a schedule. They already decided. Did I decide? No, they decided. So the wedding starts at 6 p.m. Could also say the wedding starts at 6 o'clock. Both are okay. Now, if you say 6 o'clock, you could say 6 o'clock in the evening, but you don't have to, because who starts a wedding at 6 in the morning? That's ridiculous. 6 o'clock, I'm going to assume it's in the evening, right? Okay. And like I said before, all you have to say is the wedding. The wedding starts. A few people said wedding banquet or the wedding party, but those are being more specific. Don't be. Keep it simple. Just say the wedding. Okay? So I use present simple tense because it's on a schedule. Is that the only choice? No. There are many ways to say it. You can also say the wedding is going to start at 6 p.m. That's fine. It's a plan, so you can say it that way too. I saw a few people say is going to be started at 6 p.m. This is okay, but it's a little bit too much. You're adding words that you don't need to add. You're turning it into the passive voice. The wedding is going to be started at 6 p.m. By doing that, making it the passive voice, you're focusing on the action that people are starting the wedding. People are starting the wedding. But we don't really need to make it that complicated. Just say the wedding, what happens with that? It starts. It starts at 6 p.m. Okay. Next up, let's see. 听说新郎和新娘会对唱歌情歌. Okay. 对唱情歌. Okay. Now, this is a 4-character phrase, but we can shorten it down to one word in English. Keep it simple, okay? 听说, I would often translate it this way. So the whole thing, I'd say, I heard the bride and groom are singing a duet. You can say, I heard that. I heard that the bride and groom are singing a duet. But you can drop that, okay? So, I heard the bride and groom are singing a duet. Okay. Now, in English, when we're talking about the bride and groom, it's almost always first the woman and then the man. In Chinese, you start with the man and then the woman. 新郎和新娘, right? That's the most common way. The man, then the woman. But in English, when we're talking about a wedding, we say the bride and groom. The woman comes first. Why is that? It's an interesting difference. Maybe there's some culture in there. I'm not really exactly sure. But in a wedding in the West, the bride is the boss. The groom and everybody want to do what the bride wants. The bride is the boss. Do what she says, keep her happy. People think it's her day. It's the bride's day. I don't really know why. It's also very important for the groom, but people think, oh, the bride is super important during a wedding. So we say the bride and groom. So, 听说, I would say, I heard that. Okay? Some people also said, they said, or it is said. So they said would be okay if you heard someone say it, but it has to be that case that you heard a specific person say that. They said that the bride and groom are singing a duet. If you're saying in general, ooh, I heard a rumor, you could say, I heard. A bunch of people said, it is said. It is said the bride and groom are singing a duet. It is said sounds too formal. It sounds like, oh, it's a proverb, like an old saying. It is said that blah, blah, blah. That would be like a legend, or in history, oh, it is said that this. It sounds too formal for this situation. Keep it simple, use I heard, okay? And we're focused on the action, so I'd say the bride and groom are singing. A few people said are having a song or something, but we want to focus on what they're doing. Use the verb sing. They are singing a duet. And again, we know it's happening. It's expected to happen, so we can use present progressive tense. They are singing, okay? So I change 对唱情歌 into duet. A duet is a song with two people singing together, and they take turns singing. And a duet is, I think, almost always a love song. So a duet is like, oh, so romantic. He sings, then she sings, and back and forth. So you can just, they are singing a duet. And we know it's going to be some lovey-dovey romantic thing, right? A lot of people said singing a love song or singing romantic songs. Both of those are okay. They're going to be singing a love song together. That's great, but a duet keeps it short and sweet, okay? If you say duet, you don't need to say love song. You can just say they're singing a duet, and you know they're going to be, oh, baby, oh, baby. Ugh, a little bit too lovey-dovey, right? Okay. Now, let's keep on moving and move on to our last section. So you're looking in the cupboards. You're looking in the closet. Oh, no. Oh, geez. And you say, 我们家没有泡面了. Oh, you just realized. Almost out, right? So translating this, I would say, we're running out of instant noodles. So this means maybe you have a tiny bit left. It's almost all gone. You could say, we're running out of instant noodles. So you could also say, we're running out of ramen. So instant noodles is the correct way to say this. But in America, when people say ramen, they mean instant noodles. Because instant noodles, on the package, they write ramen a lot of the time. So a lot of people, when they say instant noodles, they'll just say ramen. They don't mean real la mian. They mean instant noodles. Kind of a funny thing, right? Words change as they go into different countries. So we're running out of ramen. You could also say, we're running out of instant noodles at home. Oh, they're almost gone. We need to buy some more, okay? So instant noodles or ramen is what someone in America might say. If you want to be correct and more accurate, you could say instant noodles. But a lot of Americans will say ramen to talk about instant noodles, okay? We're running out of them means there's a tiny bit left. They're almost all gone. If you're completely out of them, they're all gone. You can say we're out of. We're running out means it's almost gone, or we're out of means it's all gone. Okay. A few people said our house is out of ramen, or our home is out of ramen, our place is out of ramen. In English, it's better to just say we, meaning our family. Okay. And then put the place at the end. We're running out of ramen at home. So put the place at the end. Don't start with the place. Our home is running out of ramen. It sounds a little bit awkward. Just use we, okay? And put the place at the end, okay? So if you want to say right now there's none, some people said we don't have instant noodles. That means all gone. Or we have run out, meaning they ran out a little bit before and you're just telling someone the news, okay? Kyle, you skipped the last one. Did I skip one? Which one did I skip? Oh, I skipped the short one from the last one. Thank you. So I think that we're all wrapped up about the instant noodles. Rewind. Sorry about that. Go back to conversation 2, part 4. Whew. The last sentence is 我很期待. So I think most people got this, no big problems. The best way to translate this would be I'm looking forward to it. If there's something coming in the future and you're expecting it and you have good feelings about the future, you can say, I'm looking forward to it. So you're going to your friend's wedding. Hey, I think it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. That means there's this thing forward in the future. And you look at it and you feel good. So I'm looking forward to it. Okay? And we use present progressive because you're still feeling that way. I'm looking forward to it. Another way to say this would be, I'm so excited. That would mean your feelings. I'm so excited. Okay? So looking forward is focused on it's in the future and you have good feelings about it. I'm so excited could be used for other situations too. Or if there's something in the future and you're excited and you really want to go, you could also say, I can't wait. Meaning it's hard to wait for it. Oh, I can't wait for the wedding tonight. It's going to be fun. And so one thing to be careful about is if you say, I'm looking forward, you need the words to it. So I'm looking forward to it. Okay? I'm looking forward to it. We don't often say, I'm looking forward. You look forward to something. I'm looking forward to the wedding. I'm looking forward to it. Someone also said, I'm looking forward to being there. That's okay too. That's great. You have to look forward to something. Okay? But most people got that. No big problems there. One thing I thought I might see people say expecting. But for this one, you don't need to use expecting. Expecting means what you think will happen. But if you think it will be good, you can say, I'm looking forward to it. But no big problems there. So let's move back to conversation 2, part 5, okay? So we finished up the one with instant noodles. Hopefully there are no big issues there. So the second sentence, there are a bunch of different ways to say this. The Chinese is 我被鱼淋湿了，新发型都毁了. Oh, my beautiful hair. Oh, too bad. So luckily my hair is short. If I get wet, I'll be fine. Oh, maybe you have a beautiful fancy haircut and you go, oh God, it's ruined. So there's a clue of the answer. So one first note is remember 2 sentences. One idea, the other idea, unless you use a connecting word. So a few different ways to translate the first part. So I would say, I got wet in the rain. And then another way to say that is, I got soaked by the rain. My new hairstyle is ruined. Oh, my beautiful hair. I hope this doesn't happen to you. So if something happens to you and you kind of like receive the action, it happens to you. You didn't choose to happen. It happens to you. You can use the word got. So I'd say, I got wet in the rain. So wet just means some water got on me. But if you got very, very wet, you could say, I got soaked. S-O-A-K-E-D, soaked. And the ED sounds almost like a T. I got soaked by the rain, okay? So I got wet in the rain. You were in the rain and you got wet. Or I got soaked by the rain. The rain did it to me, okay? I got soaked by the rain. Now, this is the passive voice. We haven't really learned this yet, so it's a little bit tricky. It's okay. You could also say, I got drenched by the rain. Drenched means super wet. You're covered in water. You're dripping wet. I got soaked. I got drenched. Both are okay. Now, I use got because it happened to me. I got wet. I got soaked. I got drenched. Okay? If you don't want to focus on it happened to you, you can just say, I am. That means right now what you are like. So a few people said, I'm soaked or I'm drenched. So that means just the situation right now. I am wet. I am soaked. I am drenched. But if you want to say the rain did it to you, you'd say, I got soaked. Okay? Both are okay. Different ways to say the same idea. I did see a few people use was soaked. I was soaked would mean before. That would mean right now you're dry. I was soaked. Remember, soaked means very wet. So if you say it's before, that means now. It's not true anymore. That would mean you're dry now. So I was soaked by the rain. That would mean it happened before. Now you're dry. The sentence is not wrong, but the meaning is different, right? Okay. You could say I was rained on. So the rain landed on me. I was rained on. Okay. The meaning is okay there too. But if you use that, you're focusing on the rain getting on you. You didn't mention that you're really wet. I mean, you kind of get the idea though, right? I was rained on. But how wet are you? I'm soaked. Okay? And if you say rained on, you need the word on. A few people said, I was rained. That doesn't work because you have to focus. The rain happened to you. I was rained on my body, okay? And then I said, my new hairstyle is ruined. Is because right now it's ruined, okay? If you use I was soaked, you could say my hairstyle was ruined. It happened before. But I'm saying about now. My new hairstyle is ruined. And remember, you need the word my. My new hairstyle is ruined. A few people left it out, okay? It's better than saying the hairstyle. We're talking about your hair, so say my hair. Don't say the hairstyle. The is a little bit awkward here because it's something you have, so just use my, okay? My new hairstyle is ruined. Another word that I didn't see anyone use, but a common word you could say is my new hairdo. Hairdo, H-A-I-R-D-O. I'll make sure to edit my comment and add in hairdo. I think I forgot to write that in. My new hairdo is ruined. Hairstyle is a standard way to say it. Hairdo is a little more spoken. It's more of a fun way to say it. Oh, my hairdo. And this should be hairstyle or hairdo. A few people said haircut, but can your haircut be ruined by the rain? Not really. Hairstyle means you do stuff to your hair, you style it. But haircut means it gets cut. The rain won't ruin your haircut. It's not going to make your hair grow out or something. That would be really scary. It rains and your hair goes, oh, that would be amazing. So it can't ruin your haircut. It ruins your hairstyle. Okay. And we use ruined as an adjective. So my new hairstyle is ruined. Oh, too bad. It's not a verb. So we don't say my new hairstyle is ruining. No ing. Use ed. It is ruined. Okay. If you use ruining, you're saying something is ruining something. Like if you're still in the rain, you could say, oh, the rain is ruining my hairstyle. But we're talking about describing it because what happened before, my new hairstyle is ruined with an ed. Okay. Last but not least is our sentence about if you see a really handsome man and go, oh my God, that guy's muscles are ridiculous. He must exercise too much. And maybe all the ladies in the office look at that guy and go, oh my gosh, look at him. And say, oh, 他的身材超级棒的啊. So that was our core sentence. The part in parentheses was just a note to maybe help you a little bit out. So super good is maybe what you might think. Oh, super good. You could say that. But what word in our dialogue could we use to get the same feeling, saying, oh, everyone dreams about that, okay? So I would translate this as, his body is to die for. That sounds like he has an amazing body. It's so good, people would fight and die to get it or have the same thing. His body is to die for. Now, this sounds like these people really think that man is very handsome and maybe they really want him. Oh, his body is to die for. So people think he's super handsome. So you could say his body. And we know you're talking about the shape of his body. Just say body, okay? You could also say, if you're talking about his muscles, you could say his physique is to die for. Physique. I-Q-U-E sounds like eek, physique. So his physique is to die for. Oh my gosh, all his big muscles. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Ooh. Hopefully it's not too big and too scary. Some people get their muscles too big and they look like gorillas sometimes. Okay, so his body is to die for. What people dream of, what they really want to have. Okay, so you could say his body or his physique. Both of these are very common words to say. I also saw someone say his body shape is to die for. That's okay, the shape of his body shape. But you can just say his body. And we know you're saying his body shape, okay? A few people said his figure. Figure is usually used for women. For a man, it's often talking about his shape and his muscles. So we'd say his body or his physique. If you say figure, it's usually for a woman because the curves, right? Her figure. Oh, her figure is to die for. Maybe you think that woman is beautiful. But for a man, we don't often use figure, okay? His stature, I saw. Stature means the way he stands. So here it doesn't fit as well. So if we're talking about like his muscles and his shape, we'd say body or physique. His feature would mean one part of him. His features are to die for, meaning maybe like the look of his face or something like that. But if we're talking about his muscles, you'd say body or physique, okay? I saw some people say he is well built. Well built would be good, but well built is an adjective. A few people said well build, meaning like a thing. This is not a common phrase. So you could use he is well built to talk about his muscles, but we wouldn't use well build with a D as a noun. That's not a very common word. So you can use he's well built to say he has big muscles, okay? And then we use to die for because it's in our dialogue, but as usual, a million ways to say the same thing. His body is to die for. His physique is incredible. His body is great. His body is well trained. His body is well built. All these are talking about the same thing. He has really good muscles and something like that. He exercises a lot, okay? The part in parentheses, 是大家, oh geez, Chinese problems. But in English, I would say it's what everyone dreams of having. Everybody wants to have a body like his. So I would say it's what everyone dreams of having. Everyone dreams of this. What do they dream of? Of having his physique, okay? So everyone dreams of having this physique. I also saw a couple other ways of translating using other phrases. One person said, he has a dreamy body. This is really great. It's a totally different way to say it. He has a dreamy body, meaning you dream about it, okay? Oh, he's so dreamy, meaning like I dream about him, maybe he's handsome. So that's a cute way to say it. Oh, he's so dreamy. That's also an awesome translation. Okay, I saw one person say, his perfect figure is an absolute dream. This is great. The grammar is correct. It's not a common phrase. That's okay, though. His perfect figure is an absolute dream. You're getting creative out there, and I like it. You're mixing some of the ideas together. But if we keep it separate into two ideas, you could say, his body is to die for. It's what everyone dreams of having. So that's how I would translate these together. Okay. So a lot of different ideas here. And like I said before, don't think of these as rules. Don't think of them as like, oh, I have to use this then. I have to use this then. A lot of these sentences, as you know, there are many different ways to say the same idea. And think of all these things we're learning as tools to help you out. Oh, I could say it this way. I could say it that way. If I want to say this, I can say this. If I want to focus on that, I can say this. So think of these as tools, not as rules, okay? So if you think of it that way, maybe it'll be less stressful. You won't worry, oh, I have to say this. Don't worry about it. There are many different ways. You don't have to do one thing. Just say, I could say it this way. I could say it that way. If you think of it as options instead of as limits, that might make you feel more positive, right? Okay. Let's see. Before we go, are there any final questions about going to restaurants, restaurant cultures? So we have a few comments. Ophelia used hairdo. Good job. That hairdo is a fun word to say. And then Sarah has some notes, some comments. So thank you to everybody in the chat during our live stream. It's really helpful for other students who are joining later to see your comments as we go along. That's great. I really appreciate it. I would love to do the same and type them in here myself. I appreciate it a lot. And the notes are super helpful. I know other students in our class will love you guys for it. Oh, so thank you so much. So any final questions before you go? At the moment, I'll give you a minute. But before we go, remember, if you would like to chat one-on-one for a few minutes, if it's not too late for you, you can text me and I will chat with you. I'll type the name into the chat. Send a message to Kyle Moai. Okay? So if you would like to chat with me for a few minutes before you go to bed, send me a message. If nobody sends me a message, I'm going to text you. All these people in here, I see 16 of you are in here. So be ready. If you want to talk to me, be proactive. Send me a message first, and I'll choose you first. But if you're feeling a little shy, I'm going to come get you. I want to make you practice, okay? So thank you for joining, everybody. I know some of this is confusing, but like I said, don't think of them as rules. Think of them as tools. They're giving you options of ways to say something. Don't limit yourself. Give yourself choices. Don't worry about it. If you want to keep it simple and use will or going to, that's fine. If you want to use the other tools we're learning, that's even better. So get out there, try your best, keep practicing. If you have any questions, leave me a message and I'll get to you as soon as I can. So thank you for joining tonight. Send me a message if you want to chat, and I'll see you next week for conversation 3, lesson 2, conversation 3, our chill, relaxed guy. So I'll see you next week. Have a good week. Get out there, study hard. Bye-bye. Have a good night. Thank you.